Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our WCN Fluencer podcast. I'm your host, Christopher McClellan. You might know me as it's the bearded bow tie guy because they can't see the beard. They can't see the bow tie with the beard. But as I'm asking all my guests now, and my special guest today, Paula Muller. Paula, what is it? Is it the beard or the bow tie? How do I make this decision?
I think you are the bow tie person. That's your trademark. So I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. So it's kind of camouflage there underneath the beard.
But
I am the bow tie guy, and I appreciate you pointing that out. So it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too, as always. Chris.
Yeah. One of the great pleasures and joys I've had over the, oh goodness. I think we're going on 12, 13 years that I've been in the caregiving space, is to meet people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different cultures, who are all doing the same thing, helping family caregivers.
Yeah.
And you've been on a mission to help family caregivers with your terrific program, Sociavi. But before we get into Sociavi, I would just, of course, because I like you so much, I'd like for you to talk a little bit about your background and how you found your way in from engineering into caregiving.
So, the story is really my personal life. I was reflecting on that yesterday, and it's the story of my family and the role models of my mother and my grandmother. I grew up in Chile, and very, very close, and still very close to my mother and my grandmother. And like many Latinx families in South America, we were very tied together and helping together. Right. My mom and my grandmother were always for one another. We were living very close from my grandmother, so my grandmother was my caregiver as a child, and even in my teenagers years, when I was in college, always after college, I was spending the afternoon with my grandmother, drinking tea and having the afternoon tea with her and spending many hours. So very close from both of them, how supportive they were, and their own stories of caregiving. Right. My grandmother, as a single mother and breadwinner of her 4 children, took the responsibility of caring for her own mother when her mother was getting older. And then my mother subsequently took the role of caregiver for my grandmother when she developed Parkinson. And in each case, both of them had different challenges. For my mother, it was a long-distance caregiver, almost 2,000 miles apart between Santiago and Sao Paulo.
Oh, my goodness.
And having to travel that much. And in the meantime, I had moved already to the U.S., and I was observing and absorbing all those relationships. And even though I was very fortunate to travel to Brazil in many occasions to take care of my grandmother when she was having Parkinson, during COVID, I couldn't visit my family in Chile for several years. So all of that, and even, Sociavi started before that, but really was the realization that older adults who didn't grow up with technology were getting isolated and lonely.
Right.
And the rest of us, we are old, and we have learned a lot. And COVID showed us how to embrace technology for good or bad, but we depend on technology. But they are getting isolated if they are not able to take advantage of technology. I want to share with you something that it resonated with me. A friend of mine told me, my mom once told me, I feel invisible because you are all exchanging text messages and Facebook posts and I don't do that. I cannot do that. So that really summarizes that is the mission that I have. I with my technical background, I set up on the mission, how can I bridge that gap? And how can I make that older adults are connected and still be together with their families, even across long distances, even across removing all the barriers of technology for them to stay engaged, because it's so important, the socialization. Loneliness and isolation is so devastating, and we learn that.
It's a universal issue that impacts caregiving from every culture.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, and I think one of so many beautiful things about your history that you've shared, and you taking your own personal talents and skills and trying to create something that is from the heart, is, I don't have the right word. I want to say impressive, gratifying. Since there's just so many words that I can describe about you and what you've created, because you've taken your talents and skills, but goodness, a biomedical engineer, and then you've seen a problem that you can relate to on a personal level, on a familiar level, and then you've taken your talents and skills and created something that can help everybody. There's nothing better in life than that.
No, I'm very fortunate to have found that mission, because really I believe in my book that when you have an impact when you're helping people, and I think this is the mission of all of us. And
right.
I mean, you are a perfect example, Chris, with all your initiatives and all the work that you are doing.
Well, thank you. I think we. I give credit to my sisters who gave me who I got the care gene from. I watched them how they cared for their kids and myself, because they're going to be mad but they're in their 80s now. So, but we take that experience from, whether it's our parents, our siblings, and we learn from that, and we want to give back. That's part of why there's no strangers in caregiving.
Right.
We all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, but in a sense, we all talk the same language of the heart.
Yes, absolutely. That is true. And that was what it makes it so special, the whole care network where we all met, and this network of collaborators that we are building with the whole care network. Right.
We're all like-minded. We're all, and we've learned this new term too, the care economy, because it is, it's an economy in one sense, but it's also a way for people to help and collaborate, and I get to meet awesome people like yourself. So
thank you.
Tell me the story about Sociavi and how that came to be. I don't know how I want to ask this. How it came to be on the engineering side of your brain, and then on the heart side of your compassion.
Yeah, thank you. Well, the idea was very simple. Definitely, the motivation was there, that I saw this unmet need of communication, like I described before. And then looking into the experiences that I had with building software products, and I realized very early on that it has to be a dedicated device for the older adult. It couldn't be an app that they install. It couldn't be. It has to be simple. Simplicity was the cornerstone of all the development, and it still is. I mean, every feature, every aspect of Sociavi is around simplicity, intuitive, that for all the parties, not only for the older adult or the person with disabilities, but also for the caregiver, because what I realized is that in many cases with other products, the caregiver, the adult child, the daughter, the son, they become the pseudo IT person. They have to be fixing, rebooting, restarting devices. I wanted to remove all of that. So on one hand, for the older adult, it has to be something non-threatening, very simple, a dedicated device that they don't have to figure out what is my username, what is my password, where I turn it on or turn it off. So this is something that is there, is a picture frame for them that is always on, and they don't have to do absolutely anything. Not even a power button, no app, no password, no username. It's just there.
It is the true meaning of plug in and play, or plug in and use, and that's one of the
plug in and use. Yeah.
That is one of the most amazing components of Sociavi. Is that I just plugged in the electrical cord. Now, even in my somewhat advanced technology skills, which is very limited, I know how to plug something in. But to have something plug in and automatically connect is ingenious, because let's face it, everybody's technology skills are a little bit different. And when you can make something a little bit easier, especially for a senior, especially for a caregiver who's dealing with somebody that has dementia, you hit a home run.
Yeah, I mean that is the experience that I have. Many family members have told me, I tried so many things before, and the only thing that at the end really worked was Sociavi. I have a gentleman, his wife has Parkinson, and she lives in a rehabilitation, in an assisted living or a skilled nursing home. And the situation was that any other device that they tried, she couldn't use it because of her Parkinson, because of the difficulty. I mean, talking about touch accuracy that you need in a traditional iPad or a tablet, she couldn't with her tremors. She couldn't touch an app. So with this device that is just there, the family sent her pictures that she enjoyed. She sees the grandchildren. They speak. The husband speaks with her every day. And the children also are in touch, and it's just there for her to use. So
and that's where your heart comes in, because you've touched somebody on the heart side, that you've created something that somebody that's user friendly, that they could use and communicate with their loved ones. Yes. I mean that really has been so rewarding, and sometimes even I was thinking the other day, I may have looked a little bit unprofessional, but one time I was in a session and a lady with dementia, she was using the brain fitness models that I created in the device, and the activities professional, they are sometimes a little bit skeptical. She's not going to be able to do that, and they do it, and they enjoy it, and you said, wow, I did this. That is really amazing to see their faces, their smiles, and even though if they are non-verbal, but you see how they are reacting with their movement, with their eyes, and everyone is a little bit at awe because you don't expect that. But just the simplicity and the stimulation, all the details that I try to put into this product, all the attention to those details is paying off, because they are really responding, which is remarkable. And that gets your engineering juices flowing, because you're able to use those talents and skills to align with your heart. It's like this. I don't want to. I've never met somebody like you that's been able to, that's taken their engineering skills and put them to a social issue.
Yeah, thank you.
that
Thank
has personal experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you've touched on all the areas that sometimes is missing in this vast network of care. You know, we all have ideas that we'd like to implement because we see things, that areas that we can work in, and you've made it happen.
Thank you. Yes, I've been very fortunate that I had the opportunity to go all the way through this project. And this is a project of compassion, a project of I dedicated my whole life for the last 8 years to this project, and it keeps me going because I see the value. We're all getting older. It's true, technology has evolved and it has been helping a lot of people. But at the same time, there are many older adults for whom technology, especially in the later years, when you start observing mild cognitive impairment and dementia and other diseases, there is a need for the simplicity of technology in order for them to stay connected.
So let's walk through from the time you send out a package to a client.
Yes.
What's the process? How do they, first of all, how do they get the device? Once the device is in their home, how do they connect with you? And so let's just kind of walk our viewers through the process here from start to finish.
Yes. So once, usually is the adult child, the daughter or the son, the ones that comes to our website and acquire the product and the service. And basically the step is to go to our website. They're going to make it's only subscription based, so the device is for free. It's only the monthly subscription that the family.
Well, wait a minute. I want to come back because you've said a 4-letter word, free.
Yes.
The device is free.
It basically is part of the subscription.
Yeah.
And then there's no limitation on how many family members can connect to this to the older adult, and it doesn't matter where they are in the world. So we have family members in Europe, in basically everywhere, all over the world. But then the steps are they have to they make the payment, and then I need some information. We need some information to configure the devices before we ship it.
Sure.
But then when it's shipped, when you receive the box, you take the device out of the box, you connect it to the power outlet, and the very first time you're going to see a list of the available Wi-Fi. You select the Wi-Fi, enter the password of the Wi-Fi, and you're ready to go. So it's just 3 steps to set up the device. And then, on the other hand, the family members install a free app on their smartphones, either Android or iOS, and they are ready to communicate with their loved ones. And it's just that simple.
And it's as easy as the user touching the button with the photo, and the family member picks up from their phone or from the app, and there's the connection right there.
Right. And on the other hand, if the family member presses the button, the video visit button on their smartphone, their picture is going to show up on the screen of the loved one Sociavi device, and they just start talking. So in many cases, the Sociavi device is in memory care settings, and the mom or the dad with memory care needs don't have to touch anything on the screen, and they just start talking.
Yeah. Goodness. And you also have some programs associated with Sociavi for, to help with mind and body and spirit, there where they users can go in and be able to avoid that isolation that often happens. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, happy to do that. So in this journey of learning about senior living, I realized the prevalence of mild cognitive impairment, dementia, Alzheimer's. So I start thinking, what can I do on this touch screen that provides stimulating activities for persons with memory care needs? And that's how it started. And I created, and the motivation was, how can I create something simple for them to do that will just motivate stimulate them in some way. And at the same time, it's the opportunity to open the discussion because as they discover the colors, as they discover the pictures that they are seeing in these activities, it's an opportunity for engagement with whoever is with them. So we know that person with memory care needs, we cannot talk about the future or the past. It's just difficult for them.
Right.
But if we're engaging in a common activity, as they discover the colors and they discover the figures, it could be that they are observing a cat, and then they remember that they had a cat years ago when they were young. So, I mean, let me just share with you, because this almost brought tears to my eyes. We were observing an activity, and the gentleman, as he was doing the activity, he was discovering a cat. And he remembered, through all that exercise, he remembered when he was 8 years old or younger, as a little boy, that he had a cat, and the cat was called Tinkle. And then at the end of the session, he starts singing, "Tingle, tingle, little star." I mean, all that experience through the movement of their fingers, to the observation of the image, and just brought the memories to them. And those are priceless. Those experiences are priceless.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious, St. Ignatius.
Yes.
It gives me tingles.
Yes.
Because, you know, as we all come from this care issue, and I say that word lightly, issue, from different experiences, different cultures, different beliefs, but it all comes back to that other four-letter word, care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think no matter what background you come from or what culture, people understand three words: love, care, and commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to give it, people want to receive it. Doesn't matter what language it's in, what culture it's coming from. We all strive for that, and we find that combination to where we can connect with our talents and skills to be able to transmit that. And goodness, I'm talking to somebody that's doing it.
Thank you.
What an honor.
No, thank you. Honor is mine. You have been working and doing so much with the Whole Care Network for so many years, and with all your initiatives. And we really all look after all the work that you have done, Chris.
Well, it pales in comparison to, I mean, I have a hard, when they start multiplying, dividing the alphabet in math, I started to have a lot of problems, but goodness. And I certainly appreciate your support of all my work. I'm more of the storyteller, but we all have a role to play. So
absolutely.
So let our viewers know how they can be in touch with you and how they can sign up for Sociavi, and let's get the word out.
Yes, thank you very much. So the website is the starting point, and is Sociavi. So SOCIAVI.com. And Sociavi, just for all of you to remember, is a Latin word that means share and unite.
Share and unite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the starting point. There they can reach out to me and sign up. Everything is on the website. And any question, they can have my email there, and we will reach out immediately.
Right, and we'll have all Paula's information available on Sociavi landing page on the Whole Care Network with links to Paula and their website, and we might even have a demonstration coming up here pretty soon about this wonderful program. How does that sound?
Thank you. That sounds terrific. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, Paula, with the great work you're doing, you are certainly someone who is a WCN Fluencer, and I can't thank you enough for being a part of the Whole Care Network, and I am duly honored to call you a friend.
Yes, me too, Chris. Thank you so very much. A pleasure.